Dípò onítìrí tàbá mú ìyá ẹ̀. Dípò onítìrí Abíọ́lá tàbá mú ìyá máa ya ọgbà aṣọ ẹni. Ìwọ ń tọ̀ wá. Owó ẹ̀dá Yorùbá nation rè. Owó ẹ̀fẹ̀ lọ score free. Ó ti ṣayé. Àfẹnu parọ́. Gbogbo impossibility ló sọ fún wa. Kí ló jẹ́ the claiming? Ṣé make sense? Ṣé possible? Owó wo la máa ń dá? Òun kó èèyàn sẹ́wọ̀n. Ó lè jókòó sẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Ó lè ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tó wà nílé òyìnbó. Tábàmù yẹ ìwọ onírọ̀. Láyáláyá. Scammer máa ya ọgbà aṣọ ẹni. A máa ya ọgbà aṣọ ẹni. Tábàmù yẹ ẹ̀. A máa mú yẹ ẹ̀. A máa mú yẹ ẹ̀ scammer. Scammer máa mú yẹ ẹ̀. A máa mú yẹ ẹ̀. Ìwọ scammer. Olúwa ń gbìyànjú lọ́kọ̀. Fẹ́nu parọ́. Ìrọ́pọ̀. Àṣẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ló ń gbé. Ó dẹ̀ lè gba ọkọ̀ sílẹ̀ lẹ́wọ̀n. Wọ́n tún kó àwọn tó lọ ajá kí rédíò. You cannot do nothing. Ó lè gbà wọ́n sílẹ̀. Èkó dẹ̀ ló wà. Ó kálá àwọn ìyá yìí. Ó lè ní ìyá yìí. Tàbá mú ìyá ẹ̀. A máa ya ọgbà aṣọ ẹni. A máa dójú tiẹ̀. A máa yẹ kó ṣẹlẹ́yà. Ó máa fọ gbogbo nǹkan tó jẹ. Ó máa fọ mí tó gbogbo nǹkan tó swallow. Ìwọ ó lè jẹ́ gúndúpẹ̀. Ó tó bẹ̀. Lójú ọmọ Yorùbá ò tó bẹ̀ wá da Yorùbá nation ìwọ. A máa mú ìyá ẹ̀ mẹ́. Wọ́n lọ ṣèkù of this movement. We have to get rid of you. You have to go. O gbọ́dọ̀ lọ. Tàbá mú ìyá ẹ̀. Kí lẹ́yìn wo ẹ̀yin boys? Ẹgbẹ́ lè yá yẹn yá sí orí social media fún wa. Ilé tó gbé wa gan ẹgbẹ́ síta fún wa ẹjọ́. Tàbá mú ìyá ẹ̀ ìwọ onírọ̀. Pẹ̀lú àwọn dìdìrì tó kó jọ. Fẹnu já wáyà, fẹnu parọ́. Anywhere tó dé máa mẹ̀sẹ̀ ọ̀. Ó dé OPC ẹ̀dà wọn rú náà ni. Bàbẹ́ ìwọ ìyá yìí, ó ṣe iye ṣùgbọ́n yìí náà. Tábàmù ìyá ẹ̀, Abíọ́lá gbọ́gbà ayé ẹ̀jọ́ tí wọ́n Yorùbá ní ètò ọ̀tún dání náà ni. Ìwọ ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ oṣù méjì, ìwọ ìyá yìí, àwọn máa pè fún ẹ̀. No. Àwọn aya ọgbà aṣọ ẹ̀ ni, àwọn abẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ yà ń tà, àwọn àtà àkẹ́ta. Gbà. Fẹnu parọ́, ìyá fẹnu já wáyà, ìyá olóòfò, ìyá fake, poor woman, ìwọ tó ń gbé ní dẹ́sítì, tó ń gbé ní oorun, tó ń gbé ní slum, ìwọ ló ń gbówó wa, ìwọ ìyá yìí, ó lè jẹ́ lọ́rùn, àwọn amúyẹ, àwọn aya ọgbà aṣọ ẹ̀ onítìrí, Dúpẹ́ onírọ́, scammer, Dúpẹ́ onírọ́, Dúpẹ́ tó lẹ́yìn fún òsàrẹ̀ ẹ̀ lé wa lórí, Dúpẹ́ tó gbé gbogbo tó ń sọ kò make sense. Mo dí ẹ̀rọ bí aláìyá ẹ̀dá kó adélé jáde wọn lọ ṣẹ̀wọ̀n náà ni. Báwo la ṣe wá ń dáwó tó ń kó wọn sẹ́wọ̀n? Owó wo là ń dá owó tá ń dá tó ń káwọ́ lọ sẹ́wọ̀n? A máa mú ìyá ẹ̀. Òtún wá ń gbé Èkó ló tún gbé. Èkó ló ń gbé ìwọ ìyá yìí. Èkó ní Amẹ́ríkà ti yẹ Ìkẹjà l'Amẹ́ríkà ìwọ ìyá yìí. Àtàdénúrò Ògúnsọ̀yà ìwọ ìyá yìí. Gbogbo ibi tó sá sí àmà stroke àfikúté ni ẹ. Ó wá ń sá pamọ́. Olè. Fẹnu já bọ́mbà, fẹnu parọ́, irọ́pọ̀, lórí irọ́. Ó lè ń tàn wá. Ṣé Adélé lè survive? Ṣé Adélé ò ní lọ sẹ́wọ̀n? Ṣé ó lè gbàjọba Tinubu? Ó dẹ̀ ní ká máa dáwó lórí irọ́. Ó fẹ́ ká Adélé jáde. Ṣé Adélé lè sustain one day? Ṣé wọ́n ní kó gbogbo wọn? A máa mú ìyá ẹ̀. Onírọ́, olè, stealing by trick, dubious person, dubious woman, olè, onítìrí pẹ̀lú àwọn dìdìrì tó kójọ. Onítìrí, Dúpẹ́ olè pẹ̀lú àwọn gáàgì ẹ̀. Ìjìnlẹ̀ olè, Jimmy olè, Ibi olè, àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn, pandemic, epidemic, coronavirus, olè. So let it dìde, ó bá wọlé yóò kàwé, none of them were educated. Ẹgbà, wọ́n kàwé, rùkútù ni wọ́n, àwọn ọ̀gbárùkù. Mrs. Brown, very foolish àgbàlagbà, old fool, kò kàwé. They are foolish people, wọ́n kàwé. Orí wo pé a máa mú yín, bàbá mú yẹ onírọ̀ onítìrí, onírọ̀ dúpẹ́, olè, a máa mú yẹ, a máa ya ọgbà aṣọ ẹni, a máa ya ọgbà aṣọ ẹni, a máa ya ọgbà aṣọ ẹ, a máa fi ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ sí, a máa fi ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ sí, bó ṣe slow wa down, a máa fi ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ sí, a máa fi ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ sí, olè, dúpẹ́ olè, olè, onítìrí olè, olè. Happy Yoruba nation. Happy Yoruba nation. Happy Yoruba nation. Dúpẹ́ onítìrí. Ayabíọ́lá. Bàbá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀. Àbábẹ́jọ́ ẹ̀sẹ̀ ìṣẹ́kù. Àtàwọn tó ń kàlẹ̀ àwọn alábòsí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ jẹ́ta kúrò lójú kan. Ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ wọlé ká tó jáwọ́ lọ́rọ̀ yín. Ọ̀dàlẹ̀ ni yín. Òun tó bá wù yín kẹ́ dà. A máa fi ń kẹ́rù lórí ìgboro. Ẹ̀yin aláìda, ẹ̀yin abákẹ́ni jẹ́jẹ́ ìgbàjẹ́ ìbáde sọ̀jẹ́. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ máa wà tọ́jú ṣe wá. Ẹ̀yin òpònú tẹ́ ìjẹ́ wá tọ́jú sẹ́. Ẹ lọ́wọ́ ṣe ṣe. Pẹ̀lú títí lọ́wọ́ ṣe ṣe. Ayọ̀ Brown lọ́wọ́ ṣe ṣe. Àjàkálẹ̀ coronavirus, àjàkálẹ̀ Ebola, àjàkálẹ̀ cholera lọ́wọ́ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀. Ọlọ́mọ ìgbàdà nítorí ìyá yẹ kàwé ní tètè ní rùkútù ní onítìrí lọ́wọ́ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rùkútù ní ẹ. Gbogbo òyìnbó tó sọ yẹn you are not educated. Gbáà scammer ni ẹ scammer. Àwọn múgùrè lọ́wọ́ ṣe gbọ́ àwọn fòná yẹn. You are not educated at all. Come to debate. Pẹ̀lú bàbá Akíntóyè, come to debate. What idiot? Ojú wa ti là, ojú wa ti là, ojú wa ti là. Gbogbo ìtọ̀ ìtọ̀ lé wọn ti já sí kẹta ẹ padà. Ẹ ti já sí kànga èyí tó bí bá yọ nínú yín. Kó máa dúpẹ́. Happy Yoruba nation. Happy Yoruba nation. A gbọ́dọ̀ lé àwọn òmìnira wọlé kí ni àjọ wọn lè smooth again. Kọ́mẹ́sà rẹ̀ wọn ẹ gbàgbé. Ẹni máa yẹ fọwọ́ sẹ́yìn. Òun tó bá wù yín ká dà. Ẹ bá dàbọ̀lá kí abọ́láfi lọ kárù lórí ìgbò létí. Ẹ bá dàbọ̀lá kí abọ́láfi lọ kárù lórí ìgbò. Kò létí tí tó bá dàbọ̀lá kí ayọ̀ gbọ́ àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn pẹ̀lú ìdẹ́kù. Ẹ bá dàbọ̀lá kí abọ́láfi lọ kárù lórí ìgbò. Àwọn èrò yín. Ẹ̀yin onírọ̀, ẹ̀yin onírọ̀, ẹ̀yin onírọ̀, ẹ̀yin onírọ̀ pẹ̀lú movement ìrù ẹ̀dẹ̀ náà ṣe ní rẹ́ẹ̀tì. Ẹgbẹ́ ayé ṣe yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ jẹ́ èyí ọtí ó ṣẹ̀wá ó ṣẹ̀wá ó ṣẹ̀wá ó ṣẹlẹ̀ bá lè sọ ẹṣẹ lẹ́dàá Ìgbòho ẹṣẹ Akíntóyè ẹ̀yin wèrè ẹ̀yin afọ́jú ṣé gbogbo fámìlì tó ń fún wa tó lè sàn tó lè wọ́n ṣàdélé lè gbàjọba Nàìjíríà ṣẹlẹ̀ ní claim ṣẹlẹ̀ ọkùnrin ìyájọ́ living a dream onídìrí tó living a dream idiot fool 419 ignorant mọ̀dàmọ́gà a máa já ẹ sí òòrùn ìjọba ló máa mú ẹ a máa yẹ̀yẹ́ ẹ a máa yá sọmọ ẹ lọ́rùn. Aláwọ̀ aṣẹ̀ṣe. Bàbá Abẹ́jọ́ ní sèmi ṣẹ́kù. Oníkiri ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wa ó dàgbòrò olú ó dá Yorùbá ní ìṣọ̀nù wọ́n ní kò síbi tó wọ̀ wọ́n máa ń dàgbòrò ní àwọn APC lè ròyìn ẹ̀ òun bàbá Fáṣẹ̀hùn lọ́rùn. Ó wọlé Abíọ́lá ṣebí wọlé kóra níyàwó gbẹ̀yìn àríyàwó mi lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ sọ sí lọ́gbọ̀ wọlé Abíọ́lá náà ìwọlé dé gbẹ̀yìn wọn pa àbá ẹ lórí ẹni. Ó tún wọlé Yorùbá nation ó dá wa dúró ní omi adágún. Ìyá òṣì ẹni òṣì ẹni àjírí ẹni àjíkò ẹni yẹ̀yẹ́ ẹni àgbákò. Ẹ̀yin tẹ̀lé orí yóò pé olórí burúkú lẹ́yìn náà bíi tiẹ̀. Ẹ tún kàwé ẹ̀kọ́ gbọ́ a máa ń gbóhùn yín. Ẹ̀yin educated people ẹ máa ṣe bí gọ̀lúgọ̀ bí ìjọba oyè. Ṣé nǹkan tí ìyá ṣe make sense? Ìyá tó ń gbé Nàìjíríà tó ń gbé Ìkẹjà tó ń kọ̀yàn sẹ́wọ̀n lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tí ó lè gbọ́yọ̀ kọ́kọ́ lẹ̀ tó lẹ̀ síbẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tó wà lọ́dà ground. Ìyá tí ó lè gbójú síta ìyá tí ó wà active on the ground. Ẹ̀yin ọ̀mọ̀wé rí yóò pé tẹ̀ ń dáwó fún owó òṣì lẹ́dá owó adélé máa kádélé sẹ́wọ̀n wọ́n ìtẹ̀sí títẹ̀yìn dáwó kó máa kóyàn sẹ́wọ̀n ìkàlẹ̀ yín náà. Gbogbo owó tẹ̀ ń dá máa ń kóyàn sẹ́wọ̀n rẹ̀ sí dáwó. You are stupid, you are foolish, you are ignorant, you are primitive. Èèyàn burúkú ni ọlọ́tẹ̀ ní gbogbo yín ẹ̀yin ìkà ẹjọ́ bàbá yín ẹ̀ṣọ́ máa lé ẹjọ́ bàbá yín ìkà láwọn bàbá yín náà ẹjọ́ bàbá yín ẹ̀ṣọ́ máa lé gbogbo yín lọ́ba lé wọlé. The narrative have to change, the mindset have to change, the orientation have to change. Oyè yín ni behaviorism have to change. Ọ̀gáwé ìgbẹ́jà a máa jẹ́ yín máa yé gbọ́ ìyìn àpọ̀jù nílẹ̀ yín kà àti àgbà àwọn kàtà ń pèsè fún wa. Wọ́n ní àwọn ọ̀kà ló máa ń ṣoríire jù láyé ayé tí wọ́n máa change rẹ̀ àwọn èèyàn gidi ló yẹ kó ṣoríire jù. Apẹ̀gọ́ ní ẹ̀yin fún ní Ìgbòho ní Yorùbá nation ní Akíntóyè ní Yorùbá nation ní Ìgbòho ní Yorùbá nation ní Akíntóyè ní Yorùbá nation. Ṣé ẹ kọ́ níbẹ̀ wọ́n ṣẹ́nu ẹ? Kò lè bá àtọ́ lẹ́yìn ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ kò bá ti ronú kú wàdà. Báyìí tẹ̀bí sọ̀rọ̀ kọ́kọ́ èdè mi sí wa o máa wọlé o máa lé ìgbóni wọlé papọ̀ ni o máa bá láyé ara ẹ̀ jẹ́ ni má gbé ní pẹ̀sì wa. Gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ òun dàbí ẹgbẹ́ bí ẹgbẹ́ òun pòwe. Àwọn abẹ́yẹ lọ fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ èyí aláìda èyí abatẹnijẹ́ èyí ojúlafẹ́ ni èyí amọ́niṣẹ́ ni èyí apagẹ́niyàn èyí ajẹ́nisẹ́ ni àwọn ìlọ̀tẹ̀ èyí kàbá ìwí tẹ̀fẹ́ Yorùbá nation tẹ̀lé ọ̀kọ̀tẹ̀fẹ́ jẹrẹ wá wá èyí lébi ẹ lọ wá ṣèṣe ẹ bá wọlé gbẹ̀yìn náà ni kò sí ẹsẹ̀ lè pọ̀ tó àpọ̀jù lọ Yorùbá nation. Onítìrí gbọ́dọ̀ lọ. Onítìrí gbọ́dọ̀ lọ. Lílọ lílọ ló ń kọ ìbọn. Kò sí ìbọn tó jogun lé ọ̀gá ẹ̀. Onítìrí is not our leader. We don't know Onítìrí. Yes. She's a ghost. She's a ghost. But that one is there. You must go. Ọlọ́tẹ̀, aláìda, abatẹnijẹ, ojúlófẹ́ ni, ìwọ tó dé tó wá ń ṣọ̀gá. Ẹni wọlé gbọ́dọ̀ lọ. Onítìrí must go. Onítìrí must go. Onítìrí must go. Onítìrí must go. We don't need your service anymore. Onítìrí must go. We don't need your service anymore. We don't know you. God, lọ́wọ́ aṣọ ṣe. Thank you, Yoruba Nation. Thank you.
And that has been the voice. Moki Bogwape Ekaro is coming up to 8:43 a.m. 19th day of July 2023. As we continue from where we stopped a few days ago, Lori SDG goals. I'm going to be talking about that again this morning, so make sure you stay put and let us enjoy it. My name again is OLAMILEKAN. It's called koikimedia, one out of so many media that believe that the unity of Nigeria must now wind down. And let me explain to you from here now. Kàgbéga fàyèmí ìgbàgbọ́ láti bẹ̀rù làbọ̀bọ̀ àṣìṣe àjọlá ìṣọ̀kan àti ìlà. Ọ̀sẹ̀ ipò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ̀ ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ gbogbo adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Mo ní lè dárúkọ gbogbo wa, màá fi Elédùmarè, màá fi kí wa pé ṣé dáadáa ni a bá yín. After some few days, we couldn't get we're having problem with one of our two of our pages on the Facebook, so we've not been able to post, but we can be able to do live transmission. So in case you've not been seeing our post, it's just because of that. Mokiwale can say Entobaniko say volume, their device then loaded. There's no problem with the volume from here, so I don't see any reason why anybody should say that. I'll go straight into the conversation without wasting too much of my time, because we're 20 minutes behind schedule. SDG goals. What does it mean? What do you understand by that? While I was preparing for this lecture this morning, I went to look at what the United Nations is saying about the SDG goals when it comes to Nigeria. I picked up a few things, and I'll be telling you what I picked up from the network of People's Gazette. People's Gazette wrote some few months back, which is in April this year, about the United Nations SDG goals when it comes to Nigeria. The question is, do you think ǹjẹ́ rò pé lọ́pọ̀ ara yín Nigeria can achieve the SDG goals by 2030. Because that is what the United Nations is telling the Nigerian government. Regardless of whoever is there, it's not my problem. It's not about today, you know, everything in life you project, you ask the question, is it possible? We have been told for the last 63 years that it is possible that Nigeria must share. But I'm sure that when you look back and ask question after 63 years of the failed union, do you still believe that Nigeria is still going to work? That is for you to decide, not for me. Because I have made up my mind with so many Yoruba people that that contraction known as Nigeria is not going to work. But we have many Nigerians that still believe that Nigeria is going to work, and we cannot do anything to that. Because everybody in life must have respect for every individual. So even as many of Nigerians disagree with us, we must not be upset with them. You know that I feel we're upset when I don't believe in one Nigeria. It is their fundamental human right. If they believe in one Nigeria, it has nothing to do with me and you. We can advise them, we can tell them the reason why Nigeria is not going to work, but does not mean that they are going to listen to you anyway. But the only thing we can say is that if anybody out there believes that Nigeria is going to work, there's no problem. That is your right. We see them on the social media, which is our most important way of communication. But when people are asked, when is Nigeria going to work? Nobody can give a definite answer to that. Nobody. So what we are told by the international community, especially the United Nations, according to the UN Secretary General, Anthony Guterres, has urged countries to recommit themselves to achieving the 2030. When I look at where we are right now, we are in 2023. So that literally means that in 7 years, United Nations is expecting that Nigeria should achieve what is called the United Nations SDG goals, which I'm going to explain to you what it means. Hopefully we might find something, especially from the United Nations, because I am very, very careful with videos this time around, especially there's a lot of attack on the page. So when they talk about the United Nations SDG goals, we have 17 of them. I will do a quick summary of the one that we've done in the last few days. I think we've done it up to number 8. But what does it mean to a layman? SDG goals. I mean, if I ask anyone now today that Kilo understand by the word SDG goals, the United Nations SDG goals, what do you understand by that? Maybe we should listen to this.
Sustainability. Why, you ask? Because I dream of a world where a global pandemic does not create 50 new billionaires.
So what we're about to listen to is a woman that is going to explain to us the Sustainable Development Goal, explaining it in 10 minutes. I'm not too sure whether we might be able to use the 10 minutes, but let's enjoy part of that, and then I will continue from where she stopped.
To be covering the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or as you may know them, the SDGs, Global Goals, or 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I'm going to attempt to give you everything you need to know about them in just 10 minutes or less, so we better get going. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development was adopted on September 25th, 2015, universally. Universal adoption means that every single country, all 193 UN member states, agreed. I'm sure you can imagine that getting 193 countries to agree on anything is next to impossible, but that's what makes this agenda so groundbreaking. The reason we saw such broad support and adoption of the 2030 Agenda is that it was built on the groundwork of 2 previous processes that laid a strong foundation. The first was Agenda 21 that was adopted at the 1992 Rio Earth Summit and laid out a whole bunch of environmental priorities for the planet. The second were the Millennium Development Goals that were spearheaded by the UN Secretary General at the time, Kofi Annan. These were 8 goals targeted at developing countries and mainly focused on human development. So things like eliminating poverty, universal primary education, gender equality, child and maternal health, fighting against diseases, and even environmental sustainability, but at a very high level. So the global community had these two processes, one environmentally focused and one human development focused. And in 2012, at the Rio Plus 20 Earth Summit, world leaders agreed to bring the two processes together to create a more comprehensive framework that would be relevant to every country on the planet, regardless of its level of development, and to adopt it as a global community. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is referred to as a comprehensive action plan for people, planet, and prosperity. This relates directly to the three pillars of sustainable development: social, environmental, and economic, that I talked about in my first video, which you can find up here.
I will not waste too much of our time on the video because that is the reason why I am here to explain what it means for our layman, those that probably would never even have heard about the SDG goals. Why did we not have all the Awolowo project? Kí ló dé tó ṣe destroyer. I was listening to Alano, the oracle himself, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, day before yesterday. And he was talking about a few things that touch his heart. He talked about the Okitipupa in Ondo State. He talked about the rubber plantation in Araromi. He also talked about the rubber estate in Ikene. He talked about the citrus plantation where oranges, as you can see right here, I think I have a bunch of oranges. And when you look at this orange, because I love to do a presentation also with practical. This is an orange, Osonlele. Osonyi, at some point, was being planted across Ijebu-Ode. And that literally means that during the regional government, we were also able to transform this from this into this. So today, we are no longer even having this. Láti transform it, say, this is the orange juice. As you can see there, it says it orange juice. So you extract it, but you need a big industry to be able to do that in large scale. And then you will then phantom or put it into a carton box and it becomes orange juice. This has cost me £1, I believe around £1.20 something. Yeah, roughly. About £1.29. Because inflation today in UK, the breaking news is about 7%. But inflation in Nigeria is not going to change. And that is the reason why we are asking the question. Ǹjẹ́ assume or do you believe as Nigerians that we will achieve the SDG goal by 2030? So by 2030, quote and unquote, if all goes as planned with your present government, in case it comes back for the next 2 years, it will probably be in his last lap. Because I told you already that this mandate that your government have got presently, is only for 4 years. So even though the United Nations believe that Nigeria should have achieved, if not all the 17 SDG goals, at least one. And the major one is poverty. Láti gbé yín kúrò nínú poverty. So the question we should ask ourselves is, kí ni reason tó ṣe destroy Baba Awolowo project? Tó jẹ́ pé ní Ìjẹ̀bú, according to what Baba was saying, I couldn't get the recording because I was not streaming it. It would have been nice to hear how Baba was saying it, but I'm sure it would have other area that it would tell us about it again. That was when they were having, the launching of the something that got to do, with Dr. KABIRU. So the question is, Ìjẹ̀bú-Òde, even as we were told, have been around 500 years before the Portuguese expedition in 1800, or even in 1500, not 18, because we are now in the 21st century. So àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń sọ pé àìtí ṣe kankan rí, ẹ jẹ́ kó lọ sọ fún wọn pé there was what they call the citrus ọsàn, omi ọsàn. The citrus plantation was established during the regional government by the late Obafemi Awolowo. kò ń ṣọ̀sán nìkan ló ń ṣe níbẹ̀. Wọ́n tún wá sọ the juice, wọ́n extracted. Just as you can see here, and I'll be having a cup of orange juice just to start the morning. Instead of my normal coffee, I would rather have an orange juice. This has become a big problem for so many Nigerians. You are all not understanding why we are saying that orange juice. So the SDG goals that I'm going to talk about today has a lot. I have about 4 different fruits, if not 5. This is orange. I have mango. Mango, it costs me £1. Imagine if Nigeria was a great country. Nigeria should have been bringing mango all the way from Nigeria into UK, but I believe that this mango is probably coming from, not Nigeria, I know that. It says tropical sweet mango, Asda. But I don't know, it would have been on their box anyway. But what must be tiwa, but I didn't check that. So that is mango. I also have avocado. Avocado as well. This one is coming from Peru. So the question is, when you look at Kilode Tiwale Magbe avocado all the way from Peru, right? Also, I have other fruit as well. So we have apple, and we also have what we call strawberry. So we have 2 different types of grapes. We have the, the seedless, which is these 2, the green and the almost purple. And we also have, the strawberry. We have the apple. So all these are the questions that some of us are asking, that, are you sure that poverty will be, what the right word? So let me just use Yoruba. Ṣé wọ́n máa eradicate? Yeah, that's the right word I'm using for. So when I look at my kitchen here as a layman, I don't need to have a lot of money. I don't need too much money, but as long as my children and myself can have different fruits when they're back in school or when they can go to school. So we have there, we also have, I think, tangerine lele. So right there, this is banana, ogede lele. I actually bought, and I didn't realize that my wife bought as well. So we end up having extra in the house, and they can use it for something else later. One of the major aspects of the SDG goals, when we talk about the SDG goals, is number 1. Let's go with number 1. No to poverty. When we say no to poverty, we've seen a lot of Nigerians crying in the last few days. So how many fruit ni mo ní níbí báyìí? A ní ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀, a ní ọsàn, a ní mango, a ní avocado, a ní apple, a ní strawberry, a dẹ̀ ní grapes, lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. And I believe I have tomato, and also, because we can also classify these as fruit. This is a tomato as well, and this is what they call cucumber. So let's leave everything here for part of our presentation this morning. It is 19th of July 2023. As I'm talking about part of what Awolowo put together, he also had what they call the Hotel Lafia that was very close to where they were producing the citrus, which is called orange. But today, what destroyed everything that linked Awolowo, and that is why you will never achieve the SDG goals. As many of you think that when we say that we should make Nigeria out so that we can have our own sovereignty, some of you are very, very bitter. You're angry. Your expectation is that these 2 men, I'm talking about the CSI, Dr. Oloye Sunday IGBOHO, and Professor Adebanji Akintoye, an historian that is able to tell us the difference. But this is able to tell us what he has experienced from outside the country where his children are currently living as well. But ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ń sọ pé no, it is not going to happen. Let us save Nigeria, so that when we save Nigeria, then Nigeria will end up saving us. But I disagree with you. So let's go with the first one. And I'm going to go very fast because I only have 1 hour left. At exactly 10 o'clock, this program will come to an end. And we've done 36 minutes already. Number one is poverty. How do you stop poverty? Ǹjẹ́ rò pé poverty, by having this collection of fruits in your house, do you think that all these will be eradicated within the next 4 years of this government? Or within the next 7 years in the projection of the 2030 SDG goals of the United Nations? Ǹjẹ́ rò pé ní gbogbo household nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, where we have 191 local government across board, ǹjẹ́ feel pé by 2030, which if this government comes back, it will be extra. Let me take down because I could see that there's a strain on the broadcast this morning. Bear with us. So let's, and I'm actually doing some download, and that could also be having effect. So I've removed those download, and I believe we should have stability on the network right now, even though we shouldn't have any hiccup anymore, because I was actually downloading something, and I believe we should be on a full green now. If you're wondering what software I use, it's called as OBS. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí pé ẹ káàárọ̀ níbikíbi tẹ́ bá ti ń gbọ́ wa tí ẹ ti ń wò wá. My name is OLAMILEKAN, and this is KOIKIMEDIA. Mo kí my beautiful mother, mo kí àwọn ìyàwó mi, mo kí àwọn ọmọ mi for the sacrifice that they've allowed us to present this in the last 3 years, even in the midst of so many, allegations and all kind of things. My children probably will not even be bothered because they know that their father is not doing exactly what some of these allegations are coming, because we live with together. So, if I have those allegations, as genuine, my children would have seen it, especially when they keep telling me that, when are we buying our car? And I say, we don't need a car. We live in UK, where the public transportation is very, very robust. If I need to get an Uber, I can get even an executive Uber to pick us up anytime we need to go out on an outing. But the question is also, a lot of people have accused Baba Akintoye so many times, and I heard him saying that he stopped what they call partisan politics in 2006. 2006, ni Baba Akintoye ti sọ pé no more to partisan politics. They tried to woo him into, politics again, and he said no. He returned back in about 2015 because I took note of some of what he said. But one thing he has also advised and told us during the engagement, that a delegation of elders will be sent to the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and it is only for one reason alone. By the time those delegations of elders are put together, even no one of them must go in that Aso and ask for anything against Yoruba wish, which is our exit from the contraction called Nigeria. Again, Lara ìpàdé, because some of you were not there because it was not transmitted. So we had about just 100 people there. So that literally means that some of you will probably be hearing this for the first time. We will be sending delegation to the government. I don't know when that is going to happen, but that is what Professor Adebanji Akintoye told us during the engagement. How soon? Very, very soon, we are told. Àwọn tó máa lọ, wọ́n ti sọ fún wọn débi pé wọ́n ò gbọ́dọ̀ béèrè lọ́wọ́ gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì tó bá lọ bá yẹn pé àbáwá wáṣẹ́ fáwọn ọmọ wa. No, they are not going for that purpose. They are going for the purpose of one mission, to tell Bola Ahmed Tinubu that the Yoruba people do not want to have anything to do anymore with Nigeria. We hope that message is clear. Fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti gbọ́ láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ lórí KOIKIMEDIA. Elders of people are being put together right now, and their mission to Tinubu is that our Yoruba, we are no longer interested in Nigeria. We want our own sovereignty, which is our inalienable right according to the United Nations. A lot of you expected that Baba Akintoye will fall the trap from that contraction woman that was trying to inject so that this engagement can come pẹ̀lú Tinubu, so that when Tinubu gets there, we will just sit back. let me say this. Baba Akintoye stopped partisan politics in 2006. So in 2006, the Baba yẹn náà to stop ní partisan politics because he did not believe anymore in the vision and the mission of Nigeria. But today, I can say categorically that the vision of Baba Awolowo is what he wants. He wants that vision back as quickly as possible. And that is going to happen. So let's go back again to the SDG goal. Number 1, no to poverty. Do you think that no to poverty? I need to get a better one because this is not giving me exactly what I need. 17 SDG goals. Let's see if this one brings it back properly. Mokibugwale can say a very good morning and welcome to the transmission. My name is OLAMILEKAN. All right, yeah, I'm just going to go swiftly with this, even though it's not giving me the details. Number 1, no to poverty. The reason why there's poverty in Yoruba is because gbogbo plantation, gbogbo rubber estate, gbogbo Lafia canning factory, which is the orange juice factory, tó wà ní Ìjẹ̀bú, Hotel Lafia, and so many things tí Baba Awolowo ṣe was destroyed because one more people ṣe destroy yẹn, nobody would then be able to have 3 square meal. Today, gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ò lè jẹ 3 square meal, not to even talk about fruits. Because any man máa jẹ fruit in Nigeria ní sí, ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ tí ó lé fún tó lé kanná dáadáa. Number 2, zero hunger. Ebi. The basic things of life is water and food and shelter. Many Yoruba people are no longer living the kind of life they should be living. Majority of them cannot even have shelter anymore on their head. Nítorí pé wọ́n ti gba Saturday kúrò lọ́wọ́ yín, wọ́n ti fún yín ní Sunday. Even ilé tó jẹ́ the basic. I'm talking about face me, I face you. Many Yoruba people cannot live a proper accommodation. And when I mean a proper accommodation where you have the toilet inside your house, kò ń ṣe pé ẹ máa lọ yàgbẹ́ nínú ṣáláńgá níta. So when we talk about the zero hunger, majority of you do not have food. Not because lè jẹun. Some people think that reason why I say Yoruba nation is because of Fulani attack on our land. It's far more than that. We are talking about a whole industry destroyed by the agenda to keep the Yoruba below par. And that is why today we are still talking about hunger in Yoruba land. A-B. Nítorí pé mo tẹ̀ fi tangerine sí. So we have, quite a number of fruits here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In this house alone, which is the basic, the expectation is that you must have the basic fruits. Kò ń ṣe pọ́rọ̀ oúnjẹ ni mo ń sọ nísìnyí. Tá bá fẹ́ sọ pọ́rọ̀ oúnjẹ, the basic food we can talk about is this, cassava. Cassava becomes garri, which can be drunk without sugar. But the reason why is because you will never have access to the cassava because the Fulani terrorists are the one dealing with that. But in reality, the economy of Nigeria itself is dealing with every single one of you. So after the regional government was destroyed, which was the last time we had people that ate proper meal, some of you would not even have access to milk. Some of you will not even have access to milk. The last time some of you will even have access to tuna. These are reasons why you are hungry. So I am just showing you what it means to have food. The most important food that is cheap in UK is spaghetti. I remember when I was in Nigeria, tó bá lọ ra rice ní Thomas, tó bá ta rice yẹn tó ní kó fi spaghetti sí, wàá máa realize kí ló dé tó máa wọ́n sí. And I told you the difference between those of you that keep saying that your life will be better. I'm just showing you the basic. Lábẹ́ bíbá, ó dà ń pé bí èlùbọ́ àbí no pounded yam ló kó sí bíbá, and the rice and other things, òróró. So when you have all these in your house, then number 2 under the SDG goal is not going to be your own case. But we have 133 million Nigerians learning. I don't know the total in Yoruba land because I don't have the statistics. But all I can say is that for those of you that keep disagreeing for the sovereignty of Yoruba to come so that we can be able to eradicate the first 2 quickly. Torí pé tá a bá ti kúrò nínú Nigeria, this projection of the United Nations that it would happen in 2030 is not going to happen. And let me tell you what People's Gazette said in April when this article came out, and I'm going to share that with us as well. This article was put together by the News Agency of Nigeria on April 26, 2023. United Nations urges Nigeria and other countries to recommit to achieving the SDG goal by 2030. I am asking all Eyomo Yoruba láàárọ̀ pé, is it possible that we can eradicate poverty and also hunger between now and 7 years of this government? Do you think it's possible? You ask yourself that. The United Nations General Secretary, Antonio Guterres, has urged countries, including Nigeria, to recommit themselves to achieving the 2030 agenda for sustainable development. According to the Antonio Guterres, he went further to say, he made the call in New York at the launch of a special edition of the Sustainable Development Goal. And let me explain that some Nigerians are taking advantage of these. So those who not want Nigeria to break. Àwọn tí wọ́n mọ̀ nípa bó ṣe máa gba access sí owó, when they come down to your community, they will take picture, they will do write-up, they will put everything together. It's called a proposal, and they will send it to United Nations, and I can assure you, some of them are getting good money. Some are doing it for genuine reason, but that ìyẹn ò lè solve problem tó wà nílẹ̀. When some of us are saying that we want to go back and ask for our sovereignty so that we can eradicate poverty, hunger as quickly as possible. But some of you refuse to allow us. Some of these are the reason why you are in hunger. Àgbàdo ló fi ń ṣe lé. Tá bá wo gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá láàárọ̀ yìí, we can eradicate hunger by telling people to grow good amount of àgbàdo across the Yoruba land, and then we can start setting up, cluster of small industry that can turn into this or turn it to ìtànpé ní ògì. And by the time you look at all these, in reality, the question is, a lè tún sọ àgbàdo yẹn di pé á wà ní báyìí, so that when my children come back, some of them like to eat corn in their meal, so that I can have this corn right inside the fridge, export from Nigeria to UK. That is hunger that is affecting you. They cannot turn àgbàdo. This one is wheat, but this one is àgbàdo. Ọkọ̀ coloring ẹni tó fi pè ní wheatos. All these and so many reasons. Some of us are now asking the question, are we sure we want to be together? You can even turn it to this popcorn, and this can come from Yoruba land. This one is made here in UK, somewhere in Durham, which is about some few hours away from London. What are the ingredients? The most ingredient is the corn, àgbàdo, kernel. One need the òróró, one need the sugar, one need the iyọ̀. Made in an environment where nut and peanut milk are not present. Torí pé àwọn kan wà tó wà allergic to some of those things. So when we talk about hunger, Nigerians will continue to experience hunger. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá, ebi máa máa pa yín sí. Torí pé there is no access to your farm anymore. Wọ́n ti gbalẹ̀ yẹn kúrò lọ́wọ́ yín torí pé tí bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ fẹ́ fi ilẹ̀ yẹn ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀ wọ́n jẹ́ ká fi ṣe mọ́. All your governors are criminals anyway. They care less about the farm anymore, but they are borrowing money on top of the state. Gbogbo wọn ló ń yá owó lórí state, and they are not using the money to invest in the state. When they move the money into the state from the federal allocation, the money to Eco Channel was in gbogbo local government, nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, that money is definitely not coming to those local government. So the next one is number 3. So how do you then want to rectify number 3 when you don't have a good local government that will tell you who has a good health and well-being? So all the time you are ẹni ní only heart injury, ẹni ní only the assistant, ẹ bá wa ràn lọ́wọ́, ẹ bá wa dáwọ́ fún. It is because your government is not providing part of the SDG of the United Nations goal for what they call good health and well-being. Good health means that you must first put in the environment. When I look outside, even from my window, I could see the pavement as far as the other side is clean. That is the good well-being. I could look on the other side and could tell that what is geopoint so that kò ní fa ìdọ̀tí wọnú ilé. Because okoko gbọ́dọ̀ clean environment, you must have the clean environment before you talk about your inside. Tí ta bá ti dá, then definitely tí wọ́n bá wá clean nínú ilé tiẹ̀, á jẹ́ pé you would then be the one that will face the burden of whatever is called the health being. But some people are born with different kind of illness. There's nothing we can do to that. Whether they have a bit of physical challenge, whether ẹni tó jú ń dùn, whether ẹni tó lè ní dáadáa, whether ẹni tẹ́gbẹ́ ń dùn, even those that are active, there might be an accident. But the question tẹ́yẹkẹ bìrà ni pé, do you think that this present government or the previous government have been taking care of your health and well-being? And do you think that they can achieve it by 2030? Unless we act now, the 2030 agenda, which is 7 years, some of you think is a long time. Okay. I will remind you, because this that we are doing is well documented. Even if those platforms pull the video down, we have our own backup in the server. I will remind you today, in the next 7 years, if they've been able to achieve number 1, number 2, number 3, go straight to number 4, education. Education ṣe pàtàkì sí Bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀. And that is why somebody like Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the historian, is asking that, do we still have the quality of education like they had in the 60s, in the 50s? Those education is gone. Those education is no longer there. But àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ń disagree pẹ̀lú wa nítorí pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọ́n sì rán ọmọ lọ sí school níwọ̀nba díẹ̀díẹ̀. I received a call from a pastor in Nigeria. Pé wọ́n ti fún ọmọ àwọn ní admission. Let me tell you, UK university, I don't do visa. Neither do I have a Nigerian number. If anybody's coming to you and talking to you behind the scene that I face a visa, I am a journalist and activist. I have nothing to do with visa. If they go over there on family, she must have a if it's possible. Nígbà tó pé wọ́n fọ́ọ̀mù àwọn ní admissions in university. Let me say this. The university here are looking for many people to come and study, but it is not going to be free. Wọ́n náà wá bí 14 million or whatever. I don't know what he was looking for. Anyway, so he's expecting maybe there will be somebody that can borrow their money. Money níbo ló ti máa rí yẹn. But nígbà kan tẹ́lẹ̀ ní during the regional government, àwọn Bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ ṣe tó ń pè ní grant so that ẹni tó bá fẹ́ wá kàwé díẹ̀ sí lára àwọn tó jẹ́ àwọn tó good. Not everybody will be good. Some of us, our brains are different. Àwọn kan tó bá sọ pé 1 plus 1 ó ti mọ̀ pé 2 ni. Kó tó sọ pé 2 plus 2 tó bá ta padà sí ó ti mọ̀ torí pé bẹ́lẹ́dùmarè ṣe dá nìyẹn. We are all different in terms of our skills. But àwọn tó bá wá good níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn, wọ́n máa ń rán wọn pé kó wá kàwé díẹ̀ sí níta. But everybody just wants to leave Nigeria today after that person have got 2 qualifications kò ríṣẹ́ ní Nigeria. So the parent now thought that they are coming to UK, but UK is not free. I've told you that. Even the visa is changing rapidly, quickly. You will need a lot of money to be able to study in UK. And I'm not talking about small money. You will need a lot of this money in their millions. O máa need ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ owó báyìí kó tó lè wọ UK kó fẹ́ wá kàwé. An average university in UK is about almost £20,000. Tó bá rí ìtọ́ cheap jù nítorí pé àwọn náà fẹ́ pa èrò wọlé ni. They are business people. University in UK is a business center. Some of you don't understand that. Hey, wọ́n fún mi ní admission. No, they are not giving you admission. They need that your money to be able to run that university. It is called a project. So they need as many foreigners to be able to come to their university, but it is not going to be free. That is why kó tó lè gba admission, the UK embassy wants to see that you can fund yourself so that ní wá di liabilities sáwà lọ́rùn. Because èmi ti di liabilities wọn lọ́rùn. Torí pé ìgbà tẹ́mi dé ní 25 years ago, mo ní mo ná mọ́. And I didn't come through a student visa. I came through a normal visa. But I told them that I'm not going back. But you now, you cannot get the visa. That is why everybody is going through that route where after one study. You are not coming to study. You are just using that as an eye map to run away. But they know that already. That is why for you to present anything to the embassy, o máa kọ́kọ́ show evidence of funding. Wàá kọ́kọ́ sanwó university yẹn, which could be about £15,000. Maybe the cheapest one. I don't know, because I'm not under international student. I live here now as a resident, not international student. But those of you that wants to come, you are looking for the cheapest university so that you can be able to get to UK, but you have to first prove that to the UK immigration services through the visa application. And the difference between us and the North, láwọn kò ṣe gbogbo North, but àwọn tó jẹ́ olówó wọn, àwọn worried because they have the money. I don't know how far it is true, but I was reading a guy called Alhaji Aminu Yaro. He had 400 and something billion naira in his account. The question you should be asking is, níbo làwọn tí ń rí adúrú owó yẹn? So somebody like that, he can easily say that he can sponsor anybody in the North and they will not need to even vet it as well. So ẹ̀yin tẹ́ fi pẹ̀pẹ́ wá sí UK, I don't know about any other country. It is not going to be as what you are thinking. So tó bá ní wọ́n pín ní admission, it is your money that they are after. They are after this your shit hole currency that you now need to transfer or change into their own currency. So tẹ́ bá ń gbọ́ wọ́n fún mi ní admission. No, they are not giving you admission. They need your money. The UK university needs your money so that you can come here, but you need to first prove it before you get the visa. And that doesn't even make any difference, because even if you get the visa, you will only be given 16 hours to work. You will not be able to catch up as much as you are thinking. I am not discouraging you. If you like, use your head, get here. Me and you go be in this country. But the difference is I am not going to be under international student because I live here and I have a family here. And if you are thinking that some of you, your mindset that the UK government will return us back because of what we are doing, forget that one. That is a dream that will never come true. Let me repeat that. If some of you are thinking and hoping that one day they will just pick me and return me back to Nigeria, even if they want to do so, we will go through the court process. And that is different from what they did to Nnamdi Kanu because he was kidnapped. They couldn't do that to IGBOHO because we were fast enough. I was very, very emotional yesterday, and that's the reason why I didn't come out. Very, very. And the reason for that is because myself and IGBOHO, I told you that I was in Benin Republic up till the time that he was arrested, but I was already en route on a stopover. So when this picture was sent to me yesterday by my back-end team, I was very, very touched. Picture ten wo yẹn, after Temi àti Bàbá ti gẹrun tán, in preparing in another 48 hours, bá máa kúrò ní Benin. That is that picture you're looking there. We knew that we would be traveling out of Benin. We knew that. But one thing we did not know is that the IGBOHO will be stopped. And that picture had a date on it that stated 18th of July, when myself and IGBOHO took this picture somewhere in Africa. But within 48 hours, we knew that we would be traveling out. I knew I would be returning back to London. IGBOHO knew he would be going back to Germany. But they say the rest is history. So yesterday, I can only pray. We kill it to marry Oba, Kutuba Bandro ti baba yẹn. IGBOHO children will never have to pay one dime for university in Canada and in Germany. But ìwọ tó wà ní Nàìjíríà tó fẹ́ cross over sí UK, àbó fẹ́ lọ Canada, àbó fẹ́ lọ sí Germany, níbi tí ìlú mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta tí àbíkí tún add America mọ́, so that èmi IGBOHO bàbá Akíntóyè, àwa mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta, so that ìlú tí gbogbo wa ti jọ gbé, you will pay out of your nose. It's a business center. Maybe some of you don't know that. So when people are saying that, hey, what for me admission? No, they are not giving you admission. They are telling you to come and pay so that they can continue to fund that university. That is all. But the difference between me and you is that if I want to study now, I will not go through that route as an international student. But I was at some point, I told you that already, some few years back, when I was in university as well, and I was told that Mumani, that is for international student. I pulled out because I could not afford it. Èmi tí mo ti ń gbé nínú ilé nìyẹn o. Èmi tí mo ti wà nínú system for at least a year plus. I couldn't afford it because everything has a system as it works here. So ẹ̀yin tẹ́ kàn án ṣe pé tí bá dé London, màá sáré lọ máa ṣiṣẹ́ tó pọ̀. No, you will only be able to do 16 hours. I am not discouraging you to get to UK, but I am just telling you that every university, cover challenge the koikimedia, that they are business center. Every single one of them, they need that international student to get to UK, but you will have to first convert this your shit old naira that is sinking as of today. Oh, it is the 1,070. So I'm going to move swiftly because of the timing. So when we talk about education, we have our own beautiful Obafemi Awolowo University, University of Lagos, LASU, Ekiti, Ondo. We have them, but the reason why they are not looking after them is because we are locked into what is called the entity of Nigeria that does not value education. So a lot of you will never get that quality education. I can tell you, University in Lagos State, my children that finish here are better off you in terms of understanding of that education. I'm talking about the graduates, because a lot of you that graduate do not even be able to perform anything. I don't know which kind of graduation you are saying you are. I mean, let's talk about, even in Agric. Only farmer niye, Oshetoni University of Lagos. Come and tell me what you have been farming. Come and tell me how you have helped the farming of the agriculture sector since you completed university. That is the basic layman. Or as a doctor, or as a nurse, is because the system is not going to provide it for you. So once again, when you talk about university in London or in United Kingdom, whether it's Scotland, Wales, listen to me, they are business center. If you have the money, yes, you can make it down here. That is why they want to see the evidence. From bank statement. I know some of you are trying to do a hair. I don't want to go into all that because that's not my business. But in the long run, what Philippines to buy the biba. To buy the beat system here to be wale, I can assure you that you will suffer at least the first 2 years. Only what pick up later. But to buy getting £10,000 is like those that are stealing your money in Nigeria. Do you know that £10,000 is another job for a part-time person in UK? To mama lo ṣiṣẹ́ lójoojúmọ́ 16 hours. Nínú 10,000 yẹn, wọ́n máa yọ tax nínú ẹ̀, maybe a little bit. Tó bá tẹ̀ wá yọ tax, ó máa sanwó ná. So even for you to say that tó bá san the first year of the university fee, by the time you arrive, láti lè catch up, láti lè san the next one is a big problem. And I was reading, let me move that swiftly. I was reading the immigration keeps changing all the time. It's because the UK is trying to make sure that they reduce as many people that wants to get to UK. And we understand that. It's all about the pressure. So I was reading the Home Secretary this morning. I picked up something from their website, from their Twitter handle, which I'm going to read out quickly so that we can move swiftly. Once again, my name is OLAMILEKAN because it's a very busy day and today's Wednesday as well. Where is it now? UK inflation is 7.9 as of June. Where is that now? All right. Let's go straight to the Home Office. Home Office. So let me go to the Home Office. Illegal migration bill has been passed. And what does that mean to average person? This was posted today by the Home Office, or what we call the @UK Home Office on Twitter. Breaking: the illegal migration bill has been passed by Parliament and it will become a law. People coming to UK illegally will have no right to stay and will be returned to their own country or a safe third country. They will be prevented from misusing modern slavery protection and making superior challenges to frustrate removal. I pray, however you want to stay here, that is not my business. I stayed here. It is my business. I knew what I went through for 15 years when I was fighting for that. So you should come here and do the same thing, but I don't know how you're going to survive it. So let's go back again to the SDG goals as I'm presenting out this morning quickly because of the time. And I want to finish the 17 today so that we can talk about. So we talked about equality education. Gender equality. There's nothing called gender equality in Nigeria. The gender equality, because nobody respects the gender, whether ọkùnrin or respecting, whether obìnrin or respecting, ọmọdé. There's nothing called gender equality in Nigeria. But we let him on Kai. Ongongo la tife kúrò ní Nigeria. Gbogbo pé Fúlàní pa yín yẹn nonsense nìyẹn. Is the minor. So that we can be able to achieve all these is the reason why we want a sovereign nation. Let's talk about clean water and sanitation. Omi tí ó ń jáde nínú táàpì is drinkable. There's nothing wrong with it. Omi. It's drinkable. Àwọn kan máa ń ṣe ayọ̀ ni, especially our Yoruba, especially our family kankan. So that literally means that rather than me drinking this or filter it to drink it, even the filter or not filter, it is drinkable. At some point in Lagos, àwọn èèyàn máa ṣí tap momi. The SDG goal number 6 says clean water. So even as much as I can drink that, we still end up buying this. It costs a lot of money to buy this. Almost £6 for the pack. It cost me £6 roughly to buy the 24 of these, because this is what the children want to drink. Tara, because the weather is very hot, so you can see that it goes very fast. Eléyìí ni àwọn máa mú lọ sí school. One of these every day, because we expect them to drink water. Omi dájú eléyìí lọ, gbogbo nǹkan ló ní balance. Okay? So we expect when the children go out to school, I'm not talking about the younger ones. The younger ones don't need to take water to school because Omi wà ní school. But we're talking about àwọn àgbàlagbà nínú wọn. And I'm sure your parents or your children as well abroad are doing the same thing. So they will take one of these. I'm told now that Omi ti di mẹ́ta 50 naira ní Lagos State. Sanitation. I talked about sanitation earlier. Bishen Wotiti, you cannot see it and I don't want to show you anyway. But from this view, lásán, I could tell that there's cleanliness on the both sides of the pavement. On the both sides of my pavement, it is very, very clean. Extremely clean. And the reason tó ṣe clean ni pé because they are taking care of that road on a daily basis. Ọ̀tọ̀ lẹni tó máa wá gbà lálẹ́, ọ̀tọ̀ lẹni tó máa wá gbà lọ́sàn-án. If you are thinking that there will be development in Yoruba land within the next 7 years of the SDG goal, you are wasting your time. Ìdí tẹ́ ṣe ń rí gbogbo títì tó ṣiṣẹ́ because all those roads were built during the regional government. I traveled to Iwopin and I was able to come down on the vehicle. Mo wá wo texture ilẹ̀ títì yẹn. Mo wò ní ó ti jẹjẹjẹ sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́. Mo abọ́lẹ̀ apá. Mo wá wo títì yẹn. As at the time tó bá yẹ pé wọ́n maintain ẹ̀, á sì dàbí ìgbà tó build ẹ̀. But today, even gbogbo títì tó náà ń build fún yín, it cannot last for 5 years. Gbogbo títì tó ń build ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́ni kò lè last 5 years. Reason tí kò ṣe lè last for 5 years is because we are now having heavy traffic, heavy vehicle, àwọn mọ́tò tó ń gbé ẹrù tó pọ̀. Because ní rail system tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ tó lè move big product of goods láti lọ sórí track. So that means they are driving on the road and every day tó bá ń drive lórí road, ó ń ba road yẹn jẹ́, especially Dangote vehicle. Òun ló ní púpọ̀ jù because he's been able to afford them and they are brand new, his own are brand new. So when they drive, àwọn lè drive lórí títì yẹn, àfi títì tí yàn bá dá ló máa tilt. So that's about that. So when we talk about affordable and clean energy, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá can be able to provide for every household. Kò jẹ́ kẹ́ máa sọ pé ní iná tẹ́ fẹ́ lò. Kò jẹ́ kẹ́ ṣe máa sọ pé a fẹ́ lọ charge iná níta àbá fẹ́ lọ charge phone mi níta. Some of you stop using the fridge. Fridge mi ló ń dùn yìí. Fridge mi ló ń dùn yìí. Freezer wà nísàlẹ̀. Freezer kan tún nìyẹn. Tí iná inú ilé bá kú for 3 days, gbogbo tó wà nínú bíbà pátápátá ó máa bàjẹ́. And that means that we've lost money. That means that gbogbo shopping tá à ń ṣe fún 1 month láti fi save owó so that ká lè tọ́jú ẹ̀ pamọ́ ó ti bàjẹ́ nìyẹn. Because when you don't have the energy, gbogbo èyí tí wọ́n ní ẹ pé wọ́n ṣe electricity act is not going to provide electricity within the next 7 years. I understand that some of you think that one day gbogbo tá à ń sọ yìí ó máa change. Nigeria will just change and then ẹ lè tẹ̀ sí wa lójú padà. You will not be able to do so. Not in this government. Not in the government coming. Not even in the government coming. Ẹ ní lè tẹ̀ sí wa lójú. So the development is not going to happen. I didn't say so, but Akinwumi Adesina told us that it will take 300 years for us to even think of developing Nigeria. 300 years. A lot of us will have died. Akinwumi Adesina. He told us that it would take 300 years. 300 years for Nigeria to develop. 300 years. Do you know how long that is? Do you think that you're going to be alive? No. You will not be alive. I will not be alive. Every one of us will be dead. Let's listen to him. This was 1 month ago. Let's listen to him here.
For inviting me to the ceremonies for the swearing in of the incoming president, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I would like to congratulate you, Mr. President, for this achievement of the 7th democratic transition of our beloved country. I would like to congratulate the incoming president and also the incoming vice president. I wish to thank the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, the chairman and members of the Presidential Transition Council for inviting me to speak at this inauguration lecture for the incoming president of Nigeria. It is such a great honor to share my views and perspectives after the wonderful speech that has been given by my very dear friend and brother, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, as our nation gets ready to have a passing of the baton between His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari and the incoming president, His Excellency Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. It is your turn. I wish to congratulate you, Mr. President, for your stewardship against difficulties of our nation for the past 8 years. And thank you most sincerely, Mr. President, for your support for me as President of the African Development Bank. People say great things about what, by God's grace, we've been able to achieve. But unless I was sent on a mission and supported on that mission, it would not have been possible. I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, because without your support in 2015, and you're standing beside me and be very, very insightful. Fueling theirs and government's endless fleet of cars at the expense of the poor. Estimates show that the poorest 40% of the population consume just 3% of petrol. Fuel subsidies are killing the Nigerian economy, costing the economy of Nigeria $10 billion alone in 2022. And that means that Nigeria is borrowing what it doesn't have to borrow for. If it simply eliminates these inefficient subsidies and uses the resources well for national development. Rather, support should be provided to private sector refineries and modular refineries to allow for efficiency and competitiveness to drive down fuel pump prices. The newly commissioned Dangote refinery, by Your Excellency, Mr. President, the largest single-train petroleum refinery in the world, as well as the petrochemical complex, will revolutionize Nigeria's economy. And congratulations to you, Mr. President. I'd also like to give congratulations to my dear brother, Aliko Dangote, for his amazing $19 billion investment. You've got Nigerians, Mr. President, who believe in Nigeria. He's one of them. I am one of them. And we are many of us. We believe in Nigeria.
He believes in Nigeria. I'm going to pause it a little bit because it's also part of the system. So when you hear all these rhetorics from somebody like Akinwumi Adesina, the African Development Bank president from Ogun State, or no, Oyo State, I'm told, you will not believe that Bokonton Soinisi is all rhetorics. All these that is saying, it is not going to happen in our lifetime, okay? Maybe you don't know that. It is not going to happen in our lifetime. So if you are thinking that Bobonti Akinwumi so don't so dabadabadabadabahi, it's going to happen in our lifetime. It's not going to happen in our lifetime. Hold on. Okay. So let's listen to this a little bit more.
The economy. But is it really so? The economy of Nigeria is one of the most diversified in Africa, with the oil sector accounting for only 15% of the GDP, and 85% is accounted for by other sectors. Nigeria's challenge is not diversification. Nigeria's challenge is revenue concentration.
You see, this is where I want Tebangba Oroyi. He's not telling you the truth. Nigerian problem is that we are indigenous people that should not be together. But he's not putting it in that format. He's putting it that Nigerian problem is not, this is not that. But everybody knows underneath their stomach that the Nigerian problem is our forced unity together. But don't expect somebody like Akinwumi to tell you that. He's not going to tell you that. He's a believer of one Nigeria, just as Obasanjo is a believer of one Nigeria. These are the people that have milked you too much, but their presentation is not going to change because that is what the West wants them to keep telling the full gullible Nigerians that would then take me back quickly because of my timing to our sustainable goal. Decent work and economic growth. Akinwumi Adesina is talking about the economy. The economy of Nigeria is going to shrink before even the end of the year. So this Owotenri, as of today, is falling. A lot of you cannot eat 3 square meals because you don't have 1,500 naira, which is what the United Nations expect, which is just about $2. So tó bá ti ní $2 every day láti fi jẹun ìwọ nìkan kò ń ṣe ọmọ ẹ kò ń ṣe ìyàwó you will not be able to survive. So let's listen back again. So when we talk about decent work, iṣẹ́, look, kí ló ń pè ní decent work? Ẹni tó ń drive, ẹni tó fẹ́ lọ dalẹ̀ nù, ẹni tó fẹ́ ṣe deal, kódà ẹni tó wà nínú ilé bí èmi, iṣẹ́ ni mo ń ṣe nínú ilé. When I talk about self-employed, àwọn kan jáde sí títì rí, yàtọ̀ sí pé wọ́n ń ṣeré lọ, inú ilé lọ ti ń ṣiṣẹ́, and they are also investors, they are economic planner, they are this, they are that. People work from home, especially even after the COVID. For 2 years, nobody was able to go out anywhere. We were all operating into Pidekoro Zoom. Zoom. They made a lot of money. So when people are saying, I understand. It's because that is your own myopic thinking. Ó ti reduce there, but does not mean that àwọn kan ní jáde láàárọ̀, àwọn tó lọ sí hospital gbọ́dọ̀ jáde lọ ṣiṣẹ́. But there are some experts that they will also consult from remotely inside their house. Wọ́n ṣe operation láti Canada wá sí UK tó jẹ́ pé doctor yẹ kọ́ máa wo oya put the camera there. No, don't cut that. Ìyá bá lọ gé fún ẹ̀. And they are operating that operation successfully. Technology ti débẹ̀. But some of you gullibles don't understand what we are doing. I have a decent job. And part of my decent job is that I enjoy journalism, talking, educating so many of you on the reasons that the country you love so much is not going to work. Let's listen more to this guy.
For only 15% of the GDP.
Okay.
And 85% is accounted for by other sectors. Nigeria's challenge is not diversification. Nigeria's challenge is revenue concentration.
He keeps saying it's revenue concentration, but for so many years, the same revenue that should have given you industry, which goes to number 9, because the economy is dead anyway. So if anybody is trying to revive the economy of Nigeria, it's not going to happen in our lifetime. If anybody, it doesn't matter the best brain, the best economics, tobacco, revival economy in Nigeria is that you are trying to bring the Titanic that has sunk. That takes me straight to industry and innovation. And that takes me to my presentation that Baba Awolowo did a lot, to the extent that when Professor was speaking, he was very touched 2 days ago. He talked about Okitipupa in Ondo State. Níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ṣe epo. And I think I should have, yeah. I used to be their ambassador, before. But I still remember. This is Epo Pupa. If you don't know what is Epo Pupa. So I can talk about them because, I work with them for some time. Olu. And they're very good. I can recommend them anytime, any day. Okitipupa, which it comes to industry, innovation, and infrastructure. That is what Nigeria does not have today. So those of you that are waking up every day, you should be at that industry. You should even be telling us how we can make it possible so that Epo Pupai, right? It's very good. There's nothing wrong with it. Epo is very good. Epo. It is used for so many things. But because part of our culture, hey, wọ́n tẹ́ epo sórí ògún, hey, but púpọ̀ ní ìyàwó ìmọ̀ dáná, ló máa ṣẹ̀fọ́, lẹ́ máa fi epo sí. All those lies is still good for the gullible, but not people like us. Mo gbọ́ sọ pé gbogbo rọ́ tí wọ́n pa yẹn, I am not here to, I don't talk about condemnation of any religion, but pé wọ́n tẹ́ epo sórí òòṣà, bàbá tó dání, wàláì. Wọ́n fún òòṣà lépo jẹ. Ṣé pineapple ní kí n máa fún òòṣà mi jẹ? Ṣé pineapple ní kí n máa fún òòṣà mi jẹ? Ṣé nídìílé bàbá mi nísìn, tó bá ní eégún kan wà níbẹ̀ nísìn, ẹ máa bá ń tọ́ epo sí. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ló máa jẹ, èyí tó máa jẹ àgbò, ẹ ra àgbò fún. Torí pé ẹran tí wọ́n ń jẹ lójoojúmọ́ yẹn, tó bá náà tẹ̀ jẹran, ó ṣáà ń jẹja. tó bá náà jẹjẹ òṣà ń jáde yẹ so kí wá ní gbogbo rọ ẹjẹ àfi làpálàpá sílẹ̀ káyé parọ́ fúnra wa ẹ̀rọ lépo ó dùn bàjẹ́ tí o mọ̀ pé kò ń ṣe òkìtì pupa lọ́tí gbélé wa I can bet my life pé olúolù wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe business ní Nàìjíríà kọ́lọ̀ bá ń dúró ti bá àwọn tó ní olúolù mo ti lọ síbẹ̀ láti bá wọn off kò síṣẹ́ tí mo lè ṣe lára decent job ni ìtìjú kan sí tó o bá ti jalè tó dẹ̀ ṣe hush puppy tó dẹ̀ ṣe woodbury ní UK that is why some of us don't have enough torí pé a fẹ́ save with dignity wa èmi náà mo bá ṣe lè ṣe yahoo láti UK but tó bá ti mú mi nísìn ó máa easy fún gbogbo ẹ̀ ó lè ní bàbá yẹn that is why we kept our dignity even up to then that tonica lè ṣiṣẹ́ do you know that for so many years ó jẹ́ kí n ṣiṣẹ́ nílùú yìí wọ́n restrict me mo ṣí company a lọ sí court wọ́n bi mí pé kí ló dé tí mo ṣe ṣí company I had a computer center called Imperial Computer Center and General Store èmi ni mo register lọ sórí company now wàá bá orúkọ mi níbẹ̀ Ọláyọmí Kóìkì á sọjọ́ tí wọ́n close ẹ̀ fún ẹ nítorí pé ọ̀rọ̀ immigration ló jẹ́ kí n lọ close ẹ̀ because wọ́n ní right pé láti ṣí company according to the court so mo close it down but now tí mo ti ní status nísìn I can do so many things I can become innovative gbogbo àwọn company yìí ló fẹ́ wá establish sí Òkìtìpupa epo yìí nísìn wọ́n wá lọ ń ṣe wá láti another country ó dà pọ́dọ̀ wọn nígbà lọ ti ń nàkúlẹ̀ ìjọpọ̀ nígbà lọ ti ń rọ bìkọ́ mo mọ̀ kọ́ máa ń gbé wọlé ni olúolù I can't say it properly but mo ṣáà mọ̀ pé kò ń ṣe Nàìjíríà lọ ti ń ṣe. Anyway, so Okitipupa was one of the projects of Baba Awolowo where he was providing the industry tó lè jẹ́ kí ayé ọmọ Yorùbá kó lọ sí ìlọsíwájú but today ẹ lọ bèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó ń gbé lóńdó pé ẹ pẹ Ọmọlúkà pé kó bá yín lọ sí Òkìtìpupa ìfúnlówó mọ́tò kó lọ bá yín ṣe fídíò ìbẹ̀ ẹ rí i pé it is completely gone it's destroyed wọ́n destroy gbogbo tí bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ fẹ́ ṣe bàbá ìwà ń pariwo pé ẹ jẹ́ ká kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà ká lè revive gbogbo it is not too late a kàn máa change one or two things àwọn experts máa wá ìwọ tó ń lọ sí university what is the essence of your university when you cannot become innovative because kò sí access to the infrastructure and that is why some of you are waking up every day and you are praying to God that one day something is going to happen. Somebody is reminding me about Malaysia. Malaysia is number 2, if not number 1, when it comes to production of palm oil around the world. Palm oil. Malaysia, let me akọkọlọmú. Malaysia, àwọn ti lọ gan. Wọ́n ti ṣe kíni? Wọ́n ti lọ. Let me give you, according to Wikipedia quickly, before we move further. Palm oil production is vital for the economy of Malaysia, which is the world's second. This is where Nigeria is meant to be. Malaysia is number 2 ní gbogbo àgbáyé, the global world that I talked about. Malaysia is number 2, second largest producer of these epo pupa that I was showing you earlier. Malaysia is number 2 across the world. When Nigeria should be in that position through Okitipupa tí Baba Awolowo set up and Baba was very very emotional níjẹta I could see his face because somebody talked about that area and his spirit went down. But how did we, our ọmọ Yorùbá, how did we get to this thing? You think all your government care about Okitipupa? Èèyàn kan fún mi ní upset tí a mọ̀ pé rice mill tí Sanwó-Olú àti Buhari lọ set up ní ọ̀nà Ìkòròdú wọ́n ní títí ò débẹ̀. Wọ́n ní títí ò débẹ̀ yẹn rárá. So the question is, why set up a rice mill in Ìkòròdú axis when there's no road that link that project outside? Ẹ jẹ́ kó máa tàn yín. Ẹ jẹ́ kó máa fún yín ní fúgù. Ẹ jẹ́ kó máa parọ́ fún yín pé they will revive the Nigerian economy if we are all together. It is not going to be possible. Ẹ jẹ́ gbọ́ Akínwùmí Ṣínà díẹ̀ sí.
And that is because the oil sector accounts for 75.4% of export revenue.
When we should be having Okitipupa to give, hold on.
The solution, therefore,
when we should have Okitipupa to support that revenue coming into Yoruba land and Nigeria. But let's go further quickly. When we know that it is the second largest producer of the commodity after Indonesia. Let's go further. The Malaysian Palm Oil Board is a government of the commodity after Indonesia. The Malaysian Palm Oil Board, rather, is a government agency responsible for the promotion, development of the palm oil sector in the country. The country palm oil industry produce about 90 million tons of licosillucous biomass, including empty fruit bunches, oil palm trunk, and oil palm frond, as well as palm oil meal. And the question under the sustainable goal, number 9, do you think that you would have industry set up? Do you think that it takes time to set up industry? No, they don't have the mission. What we make sure people go there and consume in Nigeria? What quality ta? Importation. Kódà, ẹlòmíì fẹ́ jẹ bread abroad. The same bread tí wọ́n lè ṣe ní ojú ẹlẹ́gba tó máa dùn lẹ́nu, tó máa wà okay, tá máa pè ní orúkọ kan. No, ẹlòmíì prefer pé kó jẹ bread tó ń bọ̀ láti UK. Let's go further a little bit more because the time is really running very fast.
Is to unlock the bottlenecks that are hampering the 85% of the economy. These include low productivity, very poor infrastructure and logistics.
You hear that? It's right there. There's no infrastructure. And number 9 of the SDG goal says industry, innovation, and infrastructure. There's just poor infrastructure in Nigeria. If you like, go to your mosque, go to your Celestial, go to KABIRU, go to any church, go to your Ifa. There will not be any industry in Nigeria in this government. This government should go and revive the refineries. But they're not going to do that. They've told you that the upstream, the downstream is coming through Dangote. So you are just there as part of the government coming. So the development is not going to happen. I didn't say so, but so this expectation that industry, innovation is going to happen anytime soon, you are wasting your time. Obama dàgbà sínú Nàìjíríà ni, wà dẹ̀ gbó nínú ẹ̀ dáadáa. Torí pé Ọlọ́run ẹ̀ kò sick. Ara sickness ò ń ṣe pé ó dìgbà tí èèyàn bá sick or gbé ẹ lọ hospital. You cannot have the proper diet. You cannot have the proper meal. Your hope is like diminishing every day. But one fi prayer, one fi sustain it. I'm sure some of you, ẹ mú mi àdúrà dáadáa. Kí ni mo sọ? Ẹ mú mi àdúrà dáadáa.
But gains being made, epileptic power supply, inadequate access to finance for small and medium-sized.
I'm going to move simply. Reduce inequality. Number 10, sustainable city and community. Some of you don't know what is called sustainable cities and community. Kí ló ń pè ní community? Agbègbè tí mo wà là ń pè ní community. Community where everybody must respect each other. But ṣé àwọn Fúlàní respect yín? Ṣé àwọn Igbo gan respect yín? Ṣé Hausa gan respect yín? Nobody respect each other in Nigeria. That is why we are having conflict of interest. Hey, Koiki, tó bẹ àwọn ọmọ Igbo yẹn. Gbogbo iná rẹ̀ máa ń send message, marry boys, Koiki, mo gbọ́ gbogbo tó sọ, ọ̀ṣọ́rí táwọn ọmọ Igbo yẹn, we just hate them. No, ṣe rò pé àwọn náà sọ̀rọ̀ yín bẹ́ẹ̀. Koiki, gbogbo tó sọ yẹn mo ti gbọ́, ọ̀ṣọ́rí táwọn Igbo yẹn, a lè gbọ́kànlé wọn. No, ẹ rò pé àwọn gbọ́kànlé yín náà tẹ́lẹ̀ ni. Wọ́n gbọ́kànlé yín tẹ́lẹ̀, but do you know that we can live together? If we have a system that we can control them so that in tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe nínú society wa, do you know that people commit crime in this country? But UK, a máa ṣe bí fún òun rí ẹ. Ìjọ tó bá ti mú ẹ, wọ́n máa link gbogbo tó ti ń ṣe bọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀. But púpọ̀ nu yín, bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe fẹ́ràn Hausa náà fẹ́ràn yín. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe fẹ́ràn Kanuri náà fẹ́ràn yín. We can live together in a community. that òfin máa guide ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò bọ̀ ní Ìlọrin nísìn àwọn Muslim ní àwọn làwọn ní Ìlọrin kí lẹ rí ṣe sí. Hypocrite Yorùbá people, hypocrite ni gbogbo yín. Àwọn mùsùlùmí kan jáde ní ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa wọ́n ní àwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe ò lè gbé pẹ̀lú àwọn, and that you think that is a community? Ìyẹn ò ṣe community mọ́ náà, but nírì yẹn àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò òun lè ń rí lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wọ́n náà wá pa ní Ìlọrin which is not about how many kilometers away from Lagos. Ṣé Ìlọrin ti di ilẹ̀ Ìgbò? Hypocrite Yorùbá people, hypocrite ni gbogbo yín. I hear your messages all the time. Baba Koiki, Mr. Koiki, ẹ̀kọ́ episode sí mi. Let me say this clearly. Mo máa ń sọ lè ṣe nothing fún àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò yẹn. We are all still in Nigeria. Lè ṣe nothing fún wọn ni mo sọ. Kàn máa wish ni. Máa wish until we have our own sovereignty, and then we can build a community that everybody will respect each other. Àwọn 3-5 dog neighbors mi, ìyí sọ́tẹ̀ wà lẹ́gbọ̀n mi, woman ẹ̀ ti nice jù. Kò sí pásù tó lè bá wa gbà. Whereas ní àdúgbò míì, wọ́n bára wọn bá pásù. Lọ gbé pẹ̀lú àwọn tó jẹ́ àwọn English League. Ìwọ lọ gbé pẹ̀lú wọn, wàá sá kúrò ládùúgbò yẹn. Wàá fojú ẹ̀wọ̀n ìmọ̀. Wọ́n pa àwọn kan ní the English League. They hate us so much. But wọ́n ní choice. Òfin ló ń dè wọ́n mọ́lẹ̀. Tó bá fún wọn láyè ni, they will kill every single one of us. Tó bá jẹ́ pé wọ́n fún wọn láyè nílùú yìí, wá dì pẹ̀lú wa. Kò dé ṣe léyìn ló ti ń ṣe. So we can still live side by side, but with a law that protects the interest of every single person, but the Yoruba will be protected. But we are nationalists and we don't like the Igbo. The Igbo don't like you as well. You think they like you as well? Nobody likes each other. But do you know that every single body, especially they live side by side with Igbos? And you say disrespect to Anita. Oh! And you say disrespect àwọn Igbo yẹn níta, kẹwàá mọ bí wọ́n máa fi òfin ìlú yẹn wá fi nù yín pa. Nílé ìṣe yẹn náà, alábòsí ni gbogbo yín. Níbi tẹ́ ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ gbogbo yín, ẹ̀yin ò ṣe máa sọ fáwọn Igbo yẹn pé àjọ ń ṣiṣẹ́ o, kò wá náà ká sí, kó pé lórúkọ tí kò jẹ́ kó pè, wàá mọ̀ pé abroad lẹ́jọ́ wọ̀. But nítorí pé àwọn tó wà nílé kò sí òfin tó ń protect anybody. The 1999 Constitution does not protect anybody. And this is why we are saying that until Taba Bonle kúrò nínú that entity claim tempe Nigeria, we can start talking about all these issues. Diversification, diversity, ojoojúmọ́ ló ń try láti bring everybody together. Nílùú yìí, wàá kó Muslim, wàá ní kó wá. Ṣèbí mi ti tẹ̀lé àwọn kìíní lọ sí Dublin rí. Àwọn kí ni mo tẹ̀ pé wọ́n níjọ́ yẹn? Ìrántí àwọn gbogbo adáde wà níbẹ̀, oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀sìn ló wà níbẹ̀. Ìtẹ́ ẹ̀ lè ṣe níta, ẹ fẹ́ kọ́ máa ṣe nínú ilé ní Nàìjíríà tó ń ṣèlú yẹn. Ẹ̀yin ò ṣe máa dín pẹ̀lú àwọn Ìgbò yẹn anyhow níta, kẹwàá mọ̀ bí ẹ̀wọ̀n ní fi òfin ìlú yẹn láti fi dín pẹ̀lú yín. Does not mean that we have to live together, but we have no choice. Tèmi púpọ̀ nínú ilẹ̀ jọ ń ṣiṣẹ́ níta. Haúsá mélòó gan lẹ́jọ́ ń ṣiṣẹ́ níta. Haúsá mélòó níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ labroad. Haúsá mélòó lẹ ti jọ pàdé rí lójú títì tẹ́jọ́ ń ṣiṣẹ́. Because èmi ti bá Ìgbò ṣiṣẹ́ rí níta. Do you think that everybody is good? Bẹ́ẹ̀ni náà ṣe sọ pé wọ́n good, làwọn náà sọ pé you know good. It's as simple as that. So let's go further quickly because of my time. It's 5 minutes past 10 a.m. Now, we come back to number 12. Responsible consumption and production. We are just a consumer. I can consume. Everything we do in Nigeria, we consume. We are not producing anything. And don't think that you can produce anything. You will not be able to produce anything in the system that we have presently. Climate action. Tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ climate ò kàn wá nísìn. Àwa kọ́kọ́ ní the development kan tó máa bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ climate. America ti wà develop, wọ́n lè máa bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ climate. UK ti develop, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ti develop. So gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ climate yẹn kò ní work lọ́dọ̀ tiwa. We are not interested in climate, and it's a fact. Because nínú climate la máa restrict yín láti lè máa ṣe ní tó yẹ kẹ́ ṣe after táwọn ti develop. And that is why China and India care less about it, because they are still producing. China and India care less about the climate. Even America won't care. So when we have a system that is working as well, we care less about climate. Because see, talking about the climate, let's first develop the Yoruba land that will need about $5 trillion. Maybe you don't know that. To develop, I can see from here the cleanliness up to that, because what type of pavement to be back? None of one drive down here. You would need about $5 trillion to be able to do so. Oh yes, it's both ways. Àwọn Muslim náà sọ, àwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe, àwọn Muslim náà sọ the same thing náà ni ló ní Ilé-Ifẹ̀ náà. Wọ́n ti sọ pé wọ́n lè ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ní Ilé-Ifẹ̀ nìyẹn. Ìjọba bá wà níbẹ̀, kọ́ ló máa dé pẹ̀lú wọn níbẹ̀. I don't care. Now, life below water, which is number 14. Life below water. There's a lot of things under the Apapa. Ṣẹ́rómi Apapa yẹn. Ẹ̀yin ò lè mọ̀ tó wà níbẹ̀. And I'm not joking. From mi tí mo gbọ́, wọ́n ní láti inú space, wọ́n mọ̀ pé nǹkan bẹ lábẹ́ omi wá yẹn. Láti inú space lọ́nà ti rí. Àwọn tẹ́mọ̀ wọ́n tó wà àwọn NASA tó ń lọ lókè tó ń lọ round ẹ̀mọ̀ kó ń lọ ó máa ń rotate ni. Bí ẹ̀mọ̀ kí ni NASA space shuttle tó wà lókè yẹn? Ó ń lọ rotate ni. There's a lot of things below the water nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. So Itagbedani is not a joke, but as many Yoruba people think, it's worth dying for Nigeria. I wish you the best of luck. So, life on the land, ayé lórí ilẹ̀, ẹni ayé là ń jẹ àríwọ̀n ajẹrẹpẹ̀sù, agbọ́bìnrin, agùnmọ́tò. You know, I admire some of you. I saw the other guy, Sheobi Kubana Bikini priest, chief priest. He just bought a Rolls Royce. Very beautiful. I think it's cost them about 350 million naira equivalent. Lovely. There's nothing wrong to have ambition to buy those kind of vehicles. Well, bí òun nìkan dá kó drive láti Lagos lọ sí ìlú ẹ̀. Lagos nìkan náà ló ti lè ṣe gbogbo sìyàn yẹn. Tó bá máa lọ sí ìlú ẹ̀ ó gbọ́dọ̀ kó sójà tó pọ̀ dání. I'm talking about the chief priest, ọ̀rẹ́ OBO. Bọ̀bọ́ yẹn tó tóbi yẹn máa rìn báyìí. Olówó ẹni kó drive mọ́tò yẹn inú Lagos náà ló ti lè ṣe gbogbo tó ń ṣe yẹn. Tó bá máa gbé mọ́tò yẹn lọ sí ìlú ẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Ìgbò tó ti wá, ó gbọ́dọ̀ gbé sójà dání tó máa guide ẹ̀ dé ìlú ẹ̀ padà. But ní Lagos state ó sì lè drive ẹ̀ within Lagos. Pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ náà ti máa ní security o torí àwọn agbèrò ẹ̀yàn ọmọ Yorùbá tẹ́ fẹ́ súnmọ́. Hey, chief priest, give us something now. Baba Laye, we see cars here. We admire those cars, especially when you go to some beautiful areas here in London. To bá down àdúgbò kan, wọ́n lo mọ́tò nílùú iná bàjẹ́. But I can only admire it and just walk away because I can't afford it. Ìyẹn ọ̀dẹ̀ mi pé kí wọ́n lọ jalè torí pé mo fẹ́ gun mọ́tò yẹn. But ìwọ nísìn bó ṣe ń rí mọ́tò yẹn, èmi ẹ̀ sọ pé ọmọ èmi náà gbọ́dọ̀ gun mọ́tò yìí. Wọ́n wá bó ṣe fẹ́ gé orí èèyàn. We should wọnú politics. But if the system was really working, ó yẹ kí wọn náà lè build the life array from any sector around whatever you want to do, and you can be able to afford that car within a time frame if the system was working. But àwọn elite wa nísìn, ẹ rí wọn. Ẹgbẹ́ wọn lẹ́sàn rí wọn láti Ọ̀ṣun state, lọ sí Kwara, lọ sí Ondo, lọ sí Èkìtì. All they do every time, òkú bá kú nísìn, wá dáṣọ, wá gun mọ́tò wá síbẹ̀, olúkálùkù tútù lọ. Kò sí development kankan. Life on the land is zero. Life on the land is zero. So I have just less than 15 minutes. I don't want it to get up to 2 hours. So number 16, which is the most important as well. Peace, justice, strong institution. Ǹjẹ́ rò pé justice wà fún olóyè Ìgbòho? Ǹjẹ́ justice wà fún bàbá wa Dr. Sunday Ìgbòho Òòṣà? Kí ló ṣe? Kí ni Ìgbòho kí ló ṣe nísìn ní Nàìjíríà? Ẹ̀yẹn sọ tó ṣe fún mi náà. Torí lọ́pọ̀ ara yín nísìn kókó lọ bẹ Tinubu. no ó ti ṣàbí kó gbọ́dọ̀ lọ bẹ̀ Tinubu so justice nìyẹn so ìyẹn ló máa kó lè padà wá sí Nàìjíríà kó lè ní peace of mind no kí ló ṣe lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ tí kò fi ní peace of mind ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wo ló ṣe tí kò fi ní peace of mind I have said it, the hypocrisy of the Yorubas. Some of you will regret some of these utterances against Igboho, especially in Tier 1 in Nigeria. Let me say this clearly. Igboho's children are far away from Nigeria. All these I've mentioned in the last 2 hours is not going to affect his children. He's concerned because of you and our own family on the ground. So the number 16, is there justice? There's no justice in Nigeria because if there's justice, Nnamdi Kanu still not be inside the DSS custody. There's no justice. Eliki Igboho lọ bẹ̀bẹ̀, but Itemaniki won't lift the embargo. I saw the Benin Republic president again yesterday with some other African president visiting Tinubu. I don't have the details of what the engagement was all about. But I picked up the picture on one of the mainstream newspaper this morning. But we continue to be grateful to that tiny country called Benin Republic that understand that there's justice must be served with their strongest. Ewo bati one gbé ship wá sí court yẹn. Ewo court yẹn bó ṣe kéré tó. Ṣé lè compare sí high court ní Abuja. Ṣé lè compare sí ti Lagos State. So kò ń ṣe gidigba fèrègbọ̀n ló ní kíní no. Look at how the institution in Benin Republic worked for Igboho. Because they were telling lies against him. Hey, everybody just wanted to bring him down, which they are still trying to do today. But in the long run, so Tebani Fulani Pain, no, Nigeria is because there is no peace, there's no justice, and there's no strong institution. Kini Igboho Kini crime? No, it's not. And yes, so crime feminine kile mo bi se fe gbe ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn kalẹ̀. What is his crime? What has Igboho done that warrants is pushed out from his own father's land? But àwọn elite KABIRU, it's okay, no problem. Ojú ló kàn gbogbo wa. Ìbòjì ń bọ̀ níbẹ̀. Everybody will be affected, especially in this system called Nigeria. Àtẹni tó bú Igboho, àtẹni tó bú, I also have family on the ground. So this, issue that people come out and then do presentation, kí Igboho kó fi Yorùbá nation sílẹ̀. No, Igboho said clearly, Yoruba nation is not going back. Ẹ̀yin ni kẹ́ bọ́lẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin tó bá ti sú, ẹ̀yin ni kẹ́ bọ́lẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀. Igboho continue to state it clearly. Outside, inside, ní kọ̀rọ̀, ní gbangba, he has nothing more to lose. Ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ń sọ pé kó fi Yorùbá nation sílẹ̀, ẹ̀yin gangan ni kẹ́ bọ́lẹ̀. Tàbá kúkú débi tá à ń lọ, we are all still gonna be Yorubas. Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ pẹ́ so ẹ̀yin tí wọ́n advice Igboho kó bọ́lẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin ṣe ń sọ fún Igboho pé kó bọ́lẹ̀, and the last one is just partnership for gold. Gbogbo yẹn pàbó ni tí ìdọ̀kùn tó jẹ́ partnership. As I'm going to be winding down right now, stopping on Igboho himself. People come out. Kí Igboho kó padà sílé. Kó tẹ̀ tọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation yẹn sílẹ̀. Ṣé mọ̀ pé ibi táwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ wà tóun náà fi ní access síbẹ̀ in those two countries, àwọn kan náà ló jà kó tó di pé àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ ní access síbẹ̀ in terms of àwọn tó ti jàjà fún àwọn ìlú yẹn. So why is it that we cannot understand that somebody will be ready among every one of us to sacrifice? Ẹ̀yin ò fẹ́ sacrifice, so kílẹ̀ wá ń try láti ẹ̀fẹ́ máa fi ẹ̀fẹ́ àṣà Ìgbòho gbogbo ẹ̀fẹ́ kọ̀ọ̀fẹ́ ẹ̀fẹ́ máa fi pawọ́ àbí kí Ìgbòho kó bọ́lẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀. gbogbo ilẹ̀ lórí ẹjọ́ fi Yorùbá nation sílẹ̀ gbogbo iná làkúkú ń gbọ́ yín. Ìgbòho náà ò fi Yorùbá nation sílẹ̀ ó tán. Ẹni mi mo tún sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìrètí lèmi ni mò ń tì. He confide in me every day. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni awo làwa méjèèjì mo lè sọ pé ibi tó bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dẹ̀ ní Ìgbòho a lè débi tá à ń lọ yẹn mo sọ fún yín ẹ lọ kọ sílẹ̀. Tẹ bá rò pé gbogbo àwọn elite yín tẹ́ ń wò tó ń lọ tó ń bọ̀ I don't want to mention all their names gbogbo ilẹ̀ mọ̀ wọn láti state kọ̀ọ̀kan tẹ bá feel pé wọ́n fẹ́ àṣeyọrí fún yín gbogbo wọn pátápátá kò sẹ́ni kankan tó fẹ́ àṣeyọrí kankan. They are not ready to sacrifice like Ìgbòho. And Igboho to the sacrifice is ready to stand all the way through. And I will be with him any day, anytime. Tí Igboho bá ti ní ó ti yá, I will buy a ticket and I'll be making my way down. I don't know when, but we leave it like that. Tó bá ti lè sọ fún mi pé Koiki àsìkò yẹn ti tó, I will be making my way down. But we will exhaust everything that we have to, from diplomacy to what we are doing right now, to remind you that in Igboho fẹ́ àwọn olóṣèlú yín ò fẹ́. So that is the reason why he's not going to give up. And he will never give up. Mo tún sọ fún yín tó o bá sí Ìgbòho ẹ ní bá Yorùbá nation. It's as simple as that. He hasn't committed any offense. All the government of Nigeria needs to do now is to lift the embargo on him. That's all. Lift the embargo on him so that he can be able to travel out of Benin to visit his children. Ọdún méjì kò tíra wọn mọ́ ẹ̀. Ìyẹn ló yẹ kó jẹ́ concern tiwa. Kò ń ṣe pé kó bá bẹ̀bẹ̀ kó lè padà wá sí Nàìjíríà. Tí Igboho bá wọ Nàìjíríà ti destroy. Any day tó bá lọ wọ Nàìjíríà ẹ gbà bẹ́ẹ̀ Bọ́lá Tinubu mọ̀ yẹn kò ṣe gbogbo ẹni mo pe fún fíbò. Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu mọ̀ pé tí Ìgbòho bá wọ Nàìjíríà gbogbo etí ẹ̀ ń sọ pé ẹ kò lè kúrò níbi tó wà kò lè. It's because Ìgbòho is not as stupid as some of you. You wish him death. Ikú yẹn rí lórí ẹ̀. Picture tí mo fi wọ̀nyí tẹ́ ń wò yìí fẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà lórí streaming ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí bíbá yẹn lè rí ẹ máa lọ sórí YouTube ni picture ó lè pop up níbí rà. Picture tẹ́ ń wò yìí. I was with him all the way through títí dé on the 20th, which is tomorrow. Ó máa pé ọdún méjì náà tí wọ́n dá dúró. Wọ́n dá dúró ni. Constitution gbọ̀ngàn lọ mú mo bẹ̀ títí pé kó kúrò ní vicinity airport. I was in transit nígbà tí Ìgbòho pè mí direct. Pé coordinator báyìí. Mo ní bàbá ẹ walk away. Ó níbi tí ó bá le láti máa ń bá ọmọkùnrin. Ìwọ tó jẹ́ ọmọkùnrin lọ́bìnrin láti sọ pé ìyá wa ẹ̀yin sisters wa ẹ̀yin ò lè ní that kind of heart. Ìwọ tó jẹ́ ọkùnrin wá sọ fún Ìgbòho pé kó bọ́lẹ̀ nínú ẹ̀. Ó ń ṣe ọkùnrin náà. Ọkùnrin kọ́ nìwọ. Ọláyọmí Kóìkì. Ẹ rí pé àgbẹ̀rún. This was 48 hours before that trip. Mo dúró títàn dé lẹ́nu. Tó bá ti give me ní order pé ó ti fi ṣẹlẹ̀, I will be the first person on the ground. Bó jẹ́ kí n rákòrò wọlé ni màá rákòrò wọlé. But àìtí the stage yẹn padà. Wọ́n ní mọ̀jà mọ̀sá la fi mọ ọkùnrin bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Torí pé ẹni tó bá mọ̀ jà tó bá mọ̀ sá ó máa bọ̀gùn lọ ni. But Ìgbòho mo sọ fún yín tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ní Ìgbòho ẹ̀ lè gba Yorùbá nation yẹn. Ẹ tún gbogbo tó àyìn dànù pé ẹ máa gba Yorùbá nation without Ìgbòho. Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu mọ̀. But we will continue to wait while the leader of the movement tí a gbọ́ràn sí lẹ́nu. Ìdẹ́mi kó síwájú Ìgbòho ní 2021 tó bá yẹ pé route la bá lọ ni nǹkan ní bá ṣe rí. Gbogbo etí ìyá rẹ̀ fi wọlé kò tẹ̀ ní ráyè wọlé. So ẹ wò mí dáadáa. Mo ò ní kankan lóòótọ́. But mo believe pé nínú ìrìn àjò yìí ẹni máa kú ẹni máa yè ni. Ẹni máa kú ẹni máa yè ó máa yè òun lè ìrìn àjò dágbé dání. And before I go, Táwọn Biafra bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ any iota of right to tell them how to operate in the southeast. Releasing Nnamdi Kanu, that is the first stage. Tó bá release Nnamdi Kanu, the Biafra knows what next to do. Tẹ́ ẹ bá release Nnamdi Kanu, tẹ́ bá ní ogun ò ní bẹ́lẹ̀ Nàìjíríà, ẹ tutù ẹ̀dá. How soon I don't know. Nígbà wo mo mọ̀, ogun máa bẹ́lẹ̀ Nàìjíríà. Pé kò ní sógun nínú Nàìjíríà between now, the next 10 years, 8 years, 7 years, I don't know. But ogun máa bẹ́lẹ̀ nínú Nàìjíríà between the north and the southeast. Don't joke with them. Àwọn kọjá stage táwa fi ń gbé. They are fully ready. Ìyẹn kan lè bá gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ìlú kan jà lóòótọ́. But wọ́n tún lè bá gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ìlú jà. Mo sọ fún yín pé ìjọ tí Security Council bá ti dìde lórí ọ̀rọ̀ wa, Nigeria is gone. But for now, we will continue to exploit every means to educate you on reasons. Forget about the reason pé torí Fúlàní la ṣe fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Gbogbo yẹn minor ni. Gbogbo tí mo kà lénìí is the reason why we want to leave Nigeria. Kọ́lọ̀ ọ̀bẹ Elédùmarè kó má ẹ̀ka rí tàjẹ̀ sílẹ̀. Gbogbo yẹn pàbó ni. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ máa ta sílẹ̀ ká tó lè kọjá lọ. But we pray pé kò ní pọ̀. Ẹni bá ní kò ní sí ìtàjẹ̀ sílẹ̀ ẹ̀ tanra yín. Ìtàjẹ̀ sílẹ̀ máa wà. Tá a bá ti rí ìtàjẹ̀ sílẹ̀, that's difficult there and to cross all those. They know that. Bola Tinubu knows that. The Northerners know that. The Southeastern know that. Baba Femi mọ̀. Gbogbo wọn pátápátá ló mọ̀. Baba Akintoye knows that. But I don't expect him to say this. I am saying this now as my own independent person. Yoruba nation cannot be stopped. Nigeria will not work. There is still room for negotiation. Ẹ lọ wo ohun tó ń lọ ní Kenya lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. 17 countries yesterday issued a statement advising them to tempo down a little bit. Ìjà ń lọ gan ní Kenya. Sudan is no longer coming in the news, but ìjà ń lọ nínú ẹ̀ gan. But a bẹ̀ Ọlọ́run pé kó má pọ̀ ni, even if we are going to fight. I'll leave it like that. Have a very good morning and bye for now. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí. I won't be able to start mentioning names because I gotta go now. Play the anthem and then we go. Have a very good morning, everyone.